A $60 saw replaced every year costs more than a $320 professional model that lasts a decade, and most contractors learn that the hard way. After thousands of hours of real job site abuse, only 3 power tools consistently survive: the cordless drill, the circular saw, and the impact driver. What separates these 3 from everything else comes down to engineering. Most buyers never think to question. Every contractor has a story about chasing bargains and paying for it twice. A $60 saw might look like a win at checkout, but put it up against a year of framing, sheathing, or deck cuts, and it is already begging for replacement. Run the math. If you are logging 500 hours a year, the standard for a working tradesperson, you will burn through that entry-level saw before the season is out. Each replacement means not just another $60, but lost time on the job, missed deadlines, and the hassle of hunting for another tool when you should be building. Over a decade, that cycle adds up to $600 or more, not counting the hours lost to breakdowns and store runs. Now compare that with a professional grade circular saw or drill like Milwaukee's M18 Fuel, Makita's LXT, or DeWalt's Flex Volt. These cost over $300 up front, but they are built for the long haul. Most make it 10 years or more without a hiccup, especially with regular maintenance. That is one purchase, one tool, and a decade of reliable cuts or holes. The difference is not just in sticker price, it is in downtime, repairs, and the frustration of jobs stalled by a cheap tool that could not keep up. The real cost is not what is on the box. It is what you bleed out in replacements, lost hours, and missed work. That is why pros stop gambling and buy the tools proven to last. Walk onto any real job site, and the circular saw is never far from reach. Its reputation was not built overnight. It has been the backbone of framing crews since the 1920s. Old-timers still talk about the first portable saws showing up with steel frames, heavy motors, and a promise that they would cut faster, straighter, and tougher than anything before. By 1940, you could not call yourself a carpenter without one. Framing, decking, roofing, every major build leaned on that tool, and it earned its keep day after day. A veteran framer in the Pacific Northwest tells it straight. His first pro-grade saw, bought in the 1980s, survived a decade of raindrops and plywood dust. The trick was not babying it. It was regular bearing grease and blade checks, the kind of maintenance that keeps a tool honest. Unlike the plastic-bodied bargain models, which lose their edge and drift out of square after a few months, a well-built circular saw holds calibration season after season. That is not nostalgia. It is field-tested fact. The respect for these tools runs deep. Contractors know a saw that can stay true through thousands of cuts is more than just equipment. It is a partner in the trade. The circular saw's legacy is not about brand hype or flashy features. It is about a century of surviving job site abuse and still showing up for work year after year. The cordless drill is the backbone of every trade, from electrical to framing. It's the first tool out of the truck and the last one put away. But not all drills are built to handle a contractor's pace. Professional models, like the Milwaukee M18 Fuel, show their worth where it counts, lasting through more than 2,500 full power cycles before losing torque, according to both manufacturer specs and reviews from Pro Tool Reviews. That is years of driving legs, drilling studs, and mixing mud, all without the motor giving up or the gearbox grinding down. The reason is simple. These drills use brushless motors and hardened steel gears, not the plastic and brushed setups you find in bargain models. One journeyman electrician summed it up after burning through 2 cheap drills in a single year. I bought the M18 and 5 years later it's still pulling strong. Haven't missed a day to tool failure since. That's the difference. Real job site endurance, not just out-of-the-box power. When a drill can survive thousands of cycles without flinching, it doesn't just save money. It keeps the work moving day after day. That's why pros trust these drills to go the distance, long after the budget brands have tapped out. Circular saws aren't just job site legends. They are the rare tool that actually earns their keep year after year. Professional grade models clock in with a mean time between failures of 4,500 to 6,200 hours. For a working contractor, that is 8 to 11 years of real cuts, not theoretical lab tests. The numbers back it up. Manufacturer field data and independent reviews both confirm these saws outlast bargain models by a wide margin. And when it comes time to upgrade, pro-grade circular saws hold their value. Auction and resale data from eBay and tool forums show that a used Milwaukee M18 or DeWalt FlexVolt can fetch 55 to 70% of its original price even after 5 years in the field. That is not just about brand cachet, it is proof that these saws keep working and buyers know it. A fleet manager for a major framing outfit summed it up. We track every tool. The DeWalt FlexVolt saws in our rotation average over 5,000 hours before needing a major repair. When we liquidate, we get more than half our money back. Easy. No cheap saw can come close. The economic logic is simple. Buy once, use for a decade, and recover real cash when you are done. That is why the circular saw stands as the second survivor on any serious job site list. Impact drivers are the real survivors when it comes to job site punishment. Unlike drills or saws, these tools face a constant barrage of torque spikes, tightening lag bolts, breaking loose rusted fasteners, and driving screws where a hammer would stall out. Most cheap impact drivers do not make it past a few months of serious use before the gears start to chatter or the motor overheats. But professional models, like the Makita LXT, are built for the long haul. Manufacturer data, echoed by Pro Tool reviews, puts the Makita LXT at roughly 1,800 full power impact cycles before any gear wear shows up. That is not just a marketing number. Service technicians see the difference on the bench. One tech described opening up a Makita after a year of daily framing work. Steel gears still sharp, housing tight, and the brushless motor running cool. By contrast, bargain models come in with stripped polymer gears and scorched windings after a few hundred cycles. The real test is simple. Can an impact driver take a year of deck building, lag driving, and sub-zero mornings without falling apart? For the Makita LXT and its pro-grade rivals, the answer is yes. That kind of endurance is not luck. It is the product of hardened steel gear trains, brushless motors, and real-world engineering that treats every fastener as a shock test. That is why the impact driver completes the trio of tools that actually last, job after job. Open up a failed bargain drill or saw, and the story is always the same. Service techs see it every week. Scorched brushes worn down in under 60 hours, polymer gears chewed to dust, and heat damage that warps the housing until nothing runs square. Brushed motors waste up to 20% of their power as heat, topping out at 75 to 80% efficiency, while pro-grade brushless models run cooler and hit 85 to 90%. Cheap tools can overheat in less than 2 minutes of hard use, but a brushless unit with a smart controller will throttle back and keep running for 5 to 7 minutes before it ever gets close. Metal gears in a Milwaukee or Makita last thousands of cycles, where plastic ones in a bargain tool might strip out after a few hundred. Even accuracy drifts fast in low-end models, as heat and wear knock the tool out of square. The difference isn't just materials. It is how every part is engineered for the long haul. A contractor running a mixed fleet faces a simple math problem. The more battery systems you juggle, the more money you bleed. Buying a $600 pro-grade kit with a drill, a circular saw, an impact driver, 2 batteries, and a charger might sting at first, but every tool you add within that platform drops the cost per tool. Need a second drill? You are only out another $120 for the bare tool, not a whole new set of batteries and chargers. Compare that to a $300 off-brand kit. You save up front, but every time you need a backup or a specialty tool, you are forced to buy duplicate batteries, chargers, and sometimes even new cases. That is why fleet managers push for single platform loyalty. Inventory gets simpler, downtime drops, and warranty claims are handled in one place. The payoff isn't just in fewer headaches, it's in real dollars saved and tools that actually show up for work. A shop owner in Ohio keeps a rigid circular saw, a drill, and an impact driver on his main bench. Not because they are the flashiest, but because they are still running after years of daily abuse. The reason is simple: Rigid's lifetime service agreement. Register the tool, and every part, battery, and labor cost is covered for as long as you own it. That is not a gimmick. He has had a drill dropped from a ladder, left in a freezing truck bed, and smoked through back-to-back deck jobs. Each time, the tool either kept going or was fixed with no out-of-pocket cost. On the job site, that is the final test. Only 3 tools, the drill, the circular saw, and the impact driver, come back from drops, cold snaps, and overloads still working. For anyone tired of rolling the dice on cheap gear, Rigid's LSA is the alternative that actually pays off. On the job site, cheap tools bleed your wallet dry and burn your time. Milwaukee's M18 Fuel, Makita's LXT, DeWalt's Flex Volt, and Rigid's Lifetime Promise aren't gambles. They're investments. Most tools are disposable. A few are career-proof. Buy once, regret less. That's the lesson pros learn the hard way.